our pelvic floor is designed to rise when it comes to meet pressure from the abdominal system, the intra-abdominal pressure. So when we're generating that, when it comes to lifting, you want to generate that because you want to be able to lift heavy, you want to stiffen your core, you want to be able to have those things happen. But you want to make sure your pelvic floor is not receiving too much of that to where it's just lengthening and or losing control of that bowel or bladder, because that happens for a lot of people. And actually, something people don't actually know, guys, if you fart while you're lifting, that's actually considered fecal incontinence.
Guys, you're I mean, come on. Braden, I'm talking to you, man.
People joke about it in the gym, and sometimes it's intentional or whatever, but when it's unintentional and you lose control of that, it's actually pelvic floor dysfunction.
Wow. See, I'm thankful I've never had that happen. Even when I've had crippling stomach, sickness, and I'm somehow in the gym at the same time, number 2 sickness.
Yes.
I've been able to hold it in, so
That's
I'm actually
good.
pretty...
You probably have, good coordination.
Yeah, well, I'm just got the sphincter skills, I'm just keeping that thing pinched.
There we go.
It's, from what I'm gathering at least, it's almost like you want a balance of the muscles in the pelvic floor, right? If we are too contracted and too strong in that area.
Or just too tight.
Too tight, right? Yeah. So is that, in your definition, tightness is constant contraction? Or
it's
is
like a higher tone, yeah.
Okay.
So you can have a pelvic floor that has high tone to it, and that is usually more detrimental than weakness a lot of the time. Yeah?
So is there a situation where there would be an imbalance that would occur in the pelvic floor to cause that kind of behavior?
Like a higher tone? Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, you have pelvic trauma, you can have childbirth. A lot of times, responding to childbirth, sometimes the pelvic floor will tense up. Being an athlete, a lot of times athletes, because we're lifting, we're strong, we're doing all these things, but we don't spend a lot of time maybe on the mobility aspect or learning how to lengthen, learning how to maintain that, tend to have a little bit more of the higher tone level in their pelvic floor. Not necessarily that it can be wrong, or it can be a problem, but it's not necessarily is that everybody's issue? Yeah. Maybe, or maybe part of it at least. But the way that essentially we want to make sure that doesn't happen is to learn the coordination, learn how to use that, learn how to brace correctly, because female anatomy is different than male anatomy. We have some different considerations from a bracing perspective. And